Somebody wanted me to talk about this incident that happened a couple of weeks ago with Drake and Future. And, I had heard about this when I was at work and everything, but I just didn't do a video on it because, to be quite frank, I didn't give a shit. But, I got about 3 personal messages of people wanting my opinion on it. And basically what happened is that I believe Miguel, Future, and Drake were on tour. And, obviously Drake was a headliner because he's the hottest right now. And, he had Miguel, Future, and probably some undercard artists on there. And when Future had, I guess, a meeting with some executives, as far as the tour and everything that was going to go on, he made a comment saying that he felt like, Drake's album was cool, but it doesn't reach the people the way his music does. Basically just, talking a little shit, And I can't even really say that. He was just voicing his opinion. So, Drake, being the emotional crybaby he is and always wants to play the sad sheet, he says, well, I'm kicking Future off the tour because I don't want anything to do with him since, he's voicing his opinion and he feels like my music doesn't reach the people, So, he kicked him off the tour, and Future was set up to get paid $40,000, for every show, which is pretty good money, for artists of his caliber. I know I work with artists that get triple what he was getting, but $40,000, that's a lot of money. You got people who don't make that in a year. So he after the drama and everybody talked about it and everything, he said, okay, well, I'll let Future back on the tour, but I only want to, give him $7,000, with his chump change. $7,000 a show. So you go from 40 to 7. And, now Future, is hot, because obviously that puts a damper not into his wallet, but just the people that he has to pay on tour and etc., etc. So now he's filed a lawsuit against Drake for $1.5 million, for him making those type of decisions and messing with his money and kicking him off the tour. And a lot of you guys wanted my opinion about it, and basically I think that Future's manager, or I'm not gonna say A&R, that's what I do, but sometimes you have A&Rs that do deal with the business perspective when it comes to touring. And I just think they didn't do their job, when, especially your manager, because your manager is what sets a lot of these tour dates up, and the record company. But when I do work with certain artists, I'm very clear, and I think about all different stipulations before I make a contract with somebody. And a lot of times I have to set up meetings, like it might be an artist and I might say, okay, well, this is a cool laid back track, let's get this R&B artist on there, let's get this rapper to feature on this type of track. And I'll let the artist know, like, yo, send your track over, we'll pay you, just throwing out an example, we'll pay you $7,000 for your verse, okay? But if your verse does not make the album, there will be no follow-up residuals from that track. So let me break that down to you. Basically what that means is that let's say you're an artist, and I send you a track and I say, we want you on this track. You lay your verse on there and you send it back to me. Cool, we pay you the $7,000. Now, if we don't happen to use that for the album, you don't get any money after the $7,000 that we've already sent you. So a lot of times you just have to pay attention to certain intricate things that go into contracts. Now, if we was to use that after the album's been released, and let's say the album was to do good, then you would get a certain percentage after the revenue comes back from album sales. Or let's say if you was to be a single, obviously a single gets played on the radio, and people buy singles off iTunes and everything, then you will get even more money because now the record is in heavy rotation and it's making money alone, just that record alone. So you just have to really pay attention to contracts. And I think what his manager should have done, which is what they usually do when artists go on tour, is that you have certain stipulations in your contract. It might be a 2 or 3 month tour, and they'll say, okay, well, if you happen to get sick and you miss days, your money's gonna get cut, or you won't get paid for that particular show. Or if certain disgruntled type of things, like which is the incident I'm talking about. If things like that happen, there'll be a certain percentage. Maybe if Drake has full what's the word I'm looking for? Full ownership of the ins and outs and the outs and ins of what goes on the tour, and can make big shots like saying, I don't want this person on the tour, or I want you to cut this person money. If they have that type of power, then what their manager should have said is like, okay, if there is any stipulations or things that occur later on within the tour, we still get 45% of the revenue we was going to receive initially on the tour anyway. That means you don't get 100% of what you would be getting, but let's just say something was a pop off, you guys still owe 45% of what you were going to pay. And it's all about just working out the business attributes and people just being on their game, because you do have people who power goes to their head and they say, what, fuck you, I don't want you on the tour. And then you mess people money up, and people got bills and stuff, and you got car notes and mortgages and child support. So it does mess with people's finances. So it's just about your manager or your A&R or the record company or whoever you have running the business side of certain contracts, making sure that they're on point, and them as an artist, you have to make sure you're on point. But I think Drake was just being very emotional about this. Just like always, he always makes his little comments and crying and bitching and moaning and everything. And I think Drake's a very talented artist. I like some of his music, despite what I feel about him personally. And I'm able to do that. Being someone who works in the industry, I know how to separate my personal feelings from something and just the artistry or just me doing my job. And a lot of times, as a fan, people don't know how to do that. They don't know how to separate their personal feelings from a certain artist and just focus on the music. And I do think he's a very talented guy. Do I like everything he makes? No, but he is talented. But it's just the fact that, this guy took it out of context. It wasn't that serious. He basically was stating his opinion. Hip-hop is very competitive, and you can't get mad if somebody feels like their work is better than yours, or they can outshine you. If you're the headliner on the tour, then that says enough. You should go out there and prove why your music reaches people more than Future's music. Hip-hop has always been competitive, and I don't know why we got a lot of these young cats come in the game and they get emotional, they get sensitive, they start crying and want to make 1,000 diss tracks because somebody has a different opinion from them, or somebody feels like they're just overall, more talented. I don't understand it, but it's just a generation we live in. Everybody's emotional, everybody wants to cry, everybody wants to beef, and a lot of times the shit is uncalled for. There's enough money for everybody. But that's my opinion on it. You guys give me your feedback if you want. I'm out. Peace.